Welcome to the Unapologetically Unstoppable show. Today we've got special guest Kelly Roach. And if you are here on YouTube, you'll notice that the first couple of seconds of the interview look like you can't see much on the screen. But I guarantee you, if you stay for that first 10 seconds, you'll see us, you'll see her, you'll see all of the great questions that I get to ask while I'm talking to my former coach. So please stay tuned. And if you're on the podcast just listening, you guys will get every bit of nugget that she drops in this podcast. Can't wait for you guys to hear it. Some questions about building businesses with faith and what that looks like, so we can hear from somebody who's gone way farther than me to show us what it looks like.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I'm so excited to be here with you ladies today. So my name is Kelly Roach, and 7 and 8-figure companies. I am a 2-time Inc. 5000 winner of one of the fastest growing companies in America. And I've helped many other entrepreneurs to do the same. But my main goal is to really bring our focal point back to faith and family at the forefront of our culture and the way that we build our businesses. So what makes me unique and the way that I teach scaling is to really put the systems in place that allow you to build a machine that scales systematically without compromising the things that matter most in business and in life. So our faith, our family, our fitness, our fulfillment, and most importantly, of course, our freedom.
Absolutely. I think that those are some of the reasons why I chose you as a coach, because those things are very important to me as well.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody that I have the pleasure of serving, I would say that 90% of them are also homeschool moms.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you just recently started homeschooling your daughter.
Yes.
How would you say that that has shaped how you do your business and how you show her what a legacy leader actually looks like by building it through her as well?
Yeah. Well, it has just been one of the most extraordinary experiences of my life. I just feel like it is such a gift of all gifts to have that intimate time together as a family and to get to be a part of who our children are becoming and how they're growing into the people that God has destined them to become. And, for me, what I realized with Madison going to school was I was working so hard to finish business by the time she got home from school because I wanted to have time with her, that she wasn't being exposed to the business at all. So all the things that I spent my whole career teaching as being so important in business and in life to others, I wasn't able to teach to my own daughter. And so, what I've really focused my time and energy with her on is, Christian studies and investing, personal development, public speaking, business, sales, marketing. And we've done that through a combination of both formal and informal lessons. Now, since she's homeschooling, she gets to come on calls of mine every single week. So she gets to actually hear my teaching in real time and benefit from it. So I would definitely say don't hesitate to include your kids, not just in the behind the scenes of what you're doing, but actually when you're teaching and when you're delivering and when you're serving, so that they can begin to absorb those things. But also it's led us to her growing so much and her wanting to get involved in business. And now she's starting her own podcast and we're working on her own business. And I get to be a part of her creating her destiny as well. So yeah, I think that homeschooling is just like the greatest gift. There's nothing more precious than time, and there's no more important student for us to serve than our own children.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I know that you talked about bringing your faith more forward in your business. How has that changed, one, the people that you're serving, and two, your response from the marketplace?
Yeah, I mean, it was something I was definitely very nervous to do for a really long time. But I just kind of got to a point in my life where I decided that it was too important not to. And that's really something that I want to focus a lot more of my time and energy on in the future is faith ministry in the world of entrepreneurship, bringing faith to the world of entrepreneurship. And so I just got to a point where it was just too important not to. So I was willing to just risk whatever was going to come up when I did that. And I really didn't know what the response was going to be, but the response has been overwhelmingly positive. I really think that people are searching for the light right now.
Yeah.
Like really searching for the light. And we are all called, to live out our faith in a public way so that others can find that source of truth and that sort of strength in their own lives. And so it has been a really positive experience for me. And, obviously it's not for everyone, and you will lose some followers and you will lose some fans in doing that, but you will attract the right people. And it's been really, really fun to see that since I have been more open about my faith. I hear from people every single week that are telling me, you're inspiring me to go deeper with this part of my life. You're inspiring me to also share my faith. You're giving me the courage to see an example of a strong woman of faith that is living out her beliefs, but also building something extraordinary. And so I think that we can't underestimate how much influence we have. And a lot of times we always think like, oh, it's just me. Like, I don't have a huge platform. I don't have a big following. What I say and do doesn't matter that much, but it really does. It really, really does. And everything that we say and do, people are watching from afar, people that never engage on our content, people that we don't know from around the world. Every single thing that we do is impacting others and creating a ripple effect in the world. And it's not up to us to judge that and to put a filter on it, but instead to just be it and live it and do it, and then allow the good to flow through it.
So you've built multiple seven-figure businesses very quickly, some of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the more you do it, the easier it gets, I'm sure. What is the number one system you'd say this is the system you need first? Like if some of my clients are like at the six-figure trying to get to the seven-figure mark, and they're getting that ceiling, they're hitting that ceiling, they're like they can't get over that hump. What is that number one system that you're like, if you don't have this system, you will never get there?
Yeah, it's really your sales system, right? It's your sales system. The most important thing is you have to have a one-to-many sales system. Most of us start off selling one-to-one. We start off, bringing in a single client and a single client, but it will come a point where if you want to go to multiple six figures, seven figures and beyond, not only do you have to have a one-to-many sales system, you have to have a one-to-many service system, and the model of the business has to match how far you want to take it, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have a business service system that you're able to deliver in a group setting effectively and yield results. And you also need to have a one-to-many sales system that is going to bring people into the brand. And right now for us, obviously live launch is always number one tool. It will always be my number one tool, but we've been using master classes with trust building offers, and that has been absolutely huge. So I've been like screaming that from the rooftops everywhere I possibly can, because that's working really, really well in the market right now.
So let's talk about this trust recession that's going on.
Yeah.
That people are just like, I don't trust you. I've had this experience. It failed. I don't like this. I don't want to spend $20,000 with you right now because I don't trust you necessarily. What does that look like for people with smaller audiences? Like they're trying to get that trust recession building offer. What does that look like for them?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's just the thing, right? It is a trust recession, and it's not just that they don't trust us, they don't trust themselves because they've made mistakes, because they've invested in things that they're not proud of how they showed up for. They invested in things that they didn't get a return on. So they're not just questioning you as the marketer, as the person that's providing the service, they're also not trusting themselves. And so we need to meet the market where they are. We need to give them bite-sized solutions that are at an irresistible price point, that don't require a lot of thinking and time and trust in order for someone to feel safe buying. And so I created the concept of a trust building offer. And a trust building offer is an entry point to your ecosystem that has a very low ticket price point. Someone can get in the door for less than $100, that gives them an opportunity for you to showcase what it's going to be like when they become your customer in larger capacities. And this is why we've been using the master classes plus the trust building offer as the starting point to just grease the wheels and get people in the door. Because the biggest problem that entrepreneurs are having right now is that the trust recession is slowing down the market. It's slowing down how people are making buying decisions. People are spending longer thinking about it. They're saving for longer. They're being more careful. They want to wait till one program finishes before another one starts. all of these things are piling up and piling up and piling up on top of a declining economy, on top of so many global things that are happening. So you have to flip your funnel and you have to have a strategy that is focused on meeting people where they are and giving them an opportunity to get a big result for a little investment to establish trust quickly, which then sets you up to be able to bring them into the larger offers in your ecosystem.
So some of my clients have ad agencies, they're sales coaches, they are brick and mortar businesses. What would you say a good, like low, would it be like I know with one of your businesses, it is like lots of templates. Is that something that you think is a viable option for many types of businesses?
Yeah, I mean, think about it like exercise, nutrition, finance. I mean, you could think about all of these different things, and there are definitely cues and templates and short deliverables like that you can provide that get people an immediate result. And that's the big thing is you want to get people a win within the first 30 days of joining you, so that they then are kind of eligible to have that next conversation about, okay, where do we go from here? So there's 11 different types of trust building offers that we recommend that we think are really effective in doing the job of building trust quickly to then segue into other things. Some of them are memberships. Some of them can be done for you. One-day intensives are working really, really well right now. So there's no one size fits all, but I think you have to look at what is an urgent need in your market. What is a solution that can get people a big result that doesn't create a lot of expense and infrastructure for you to deliver the result? That's the big thing. You have to be able to deliver something at a low cost, which means that you have to also be able to deliver it at a low cost. It has to still be profitable. You still want your trust building offer to be profitable. So you're looking for things that you can do in large scale with a low infrastructure and a low cost to deliver, but a big result, so that then you can nurture them into that next step.
Perfect. So you built a lot of your businesses, or all of your businesses, from what I understand, debt free. So what was that like? Were you ever in debt and became debt free and then started doing business, or how did that work?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I like to be debt free. I'm not a person that likes to carry debt. One of my big life priorities is freedom. So freedom also means I don't want to carry debt. I don't use any debt in my personal life at all. Zero. We've always had credit cards for the businesses. We use credit cards. We're not totally like Amish, if that makes sense. Like we do use credit cards. We put money on credit cards. But our vision, our goal, and what we tend to stick to is we try to pay them off within, the 30-day cycle, right? And sometimes that doesn't mean we're not perfect. It doesn't mean we always do. But the objective is to be able to leverage the capital that is our own internal capital to be able to pay that down, reinvest that for growth, and keep going from there. And, I'll say the thing is like, 75% of people that invest in startups never get their money back. So there's a very important lesson in that. And the lesson in that is just because you have access to more money says zero about your success rate using it. So a lot of entrepreneurs think like, oh, I have a disadvantage because I have to bootstrap and I only have $500 to spend for ads. This person over here has $50,000. Well, this person over here is drowning in debt and they're probably going to go out of business when their credit card maxes out. Whereas if you learn how to bootstrap with your $50 that you have available, you can turn that $50 into $500. And I think for me, that was one of the biggest skills that I learned in building my business that way, was not to get these huge injections of cash and be careless with it, and then actually not learn the skills to be able to take that and multiply it. And I think being a good steward of your funds on a small scale is then how you learn to keep building that. And I always tell the story. I started off with a Facebook ads budget of $1,000 a month, and I grew that. I bootstrapped it to $100,000 a month. I did that literally incremental, step by step by step, by taking that little bit of money and being a good steward of it and figuring out how to multiply it, take a profit, pay my team, pay myself, and then reinvest to grow that number to a bigger number. So it can feel really frustrating. It can feel like, oh, this is so slow and painful. Like you want things to go faster. You wish you had more money at your fingertips. But what I would say is, learning how to be a good steward of money is one of the most important skills, because just because you have access to capital doesn't mean you'll know how to use it. And that's why so many startups that get given millions of dollars still go out of business. It's about learning the skill of managing the money and stewarding it and multiplying it. That's the thing that's actually going to create sustainability in your ability, one, to stay in business, and two, to actually make an income from the business that you're creating. And I would also caution everyone, there's lots of people you see out there saying, I did a $5 million launch. I did a $100 million event. I did this, I did that. They're in debt up to their ears. They're not even taking a profit from those things. I had someone come to me that's like, oh, this person just did a $12 million launch and blah, blah, blah. And I said, let's do the math on that. How many affiliates do they have? More than half of that cash is immediately getting paid out to affiliates. Then how much did they spend on ads? Oh, a couple $100,000 on ads. Okay, so now all of a sudden this $12 million launch, you could have accomplished the same thing with a $1 million launch and not be broke at the end of it. So this is why we need to not chase vanity metrics. This is why we all read the book and we were all told to study the story of the tortoise and the hare. It feels painful to be the tortoise that's slow and steady wins the race, but you have to keep reminding yourself, what is your end goal? If you want freedom, you want sustainability, you want to do fulfilling work, you want to be able to pay yourself and pay a team and take care of your family, sometimes the slow route is the route that ultimately is going to get you ahead. And I think that's the part that a lot of people kind of have a hard time, perceiving.
And that's like literally the parable of the talents. Do with a little to get a lot. It's literally the same principle. I love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So another thing I wanted to talk about was you being a woman in business. And so like all of these people are women, and how your faith and your relationship with your husband and how that works. Because like we were talking about Father's Day yesterday, and I was like, I'm a very dependent woman. I could not be like this without my husband helping me with all the things that he does in the background. And I'm sure that's true for you, but I'm sure that the women here just want to hear the same thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, absolutely. Like this would not function. There would be no this without that. And, I think that's a really important message for all of us as female leaders to be sharing, because the last few years, like I'm always so deeply saddened when I see messaging like the future is female. Actually, it's really like we're meant to be a team, right? Yes. We're meant to complement each other. We're meant to work together. So yeah, I mean, obviously, like my husband is my best friend. He's my love of my life. He's full-time at home. He's been full-time at home since Madison was born. He manages our family, our home, does so much for her and for me. And, I think that every family dynamic is different, and there's no like one right or wrong setup. But definitely as a female leader, like you need help. You need a support system. You need to, have a partner where you work together and you get clear on what your roles in the family are. And it's okay to know that you can't do it all simultaneously. Like there has to be a system and a plan, and asking for help is key.
Absolutely. That is like the number one thing I say. I'm like, I don't cook and clean. I don't do that in my house.
No, I don't do any of that.
There's no way I could do that and do a business.
I don't do
any
of that. No.
There's no way.
The other thing to remind everyone of too, and I say this all the time, is like, if you and your spouse or your partner both work, it's really, really important to have paid help, because a homemaker job is 60 hours a week. Okay. And that's why up until what was it, about the 70s, maybe early 80s, there was one person home and one person that worked out of the home, because that's a full-time job. And our society and culture has gotten this like really twisted idea that a marriage can succeed and thrive where both people are working full-time careers, and ignoring the fact that, well, where do those 60 hours a week of managing the home and supporting your children and running your home and all of the things that come with just keeping the wheels on the bus? Like I literally say to my husband all the time, like, he literally keeps the wheels on the tracks. Like it wouldn't be on the tracks without him. Someone has to do that. So if you are both working, a lot of times what happens is the woman will be working full time and still trying to do all the homemaking jobs, and it's impossible. And this is
Yeah.
what leads to so much burnout. So you need to see investing and getting help as a business growth strategy. I say this all the time. Investing in cleaning, investing in dry cleaning, investing in getting help with shopping, all of those things, that is a business growth strategy, because
Yes.
you are the business. And if you can't function because you're so burnt out because you're trying to do a full-time job and another full-time job, it's just, it's not manageable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Impossible. Impossible.
Yeah.
Impossible. Plus, it takes too much brain space also, because
It
you're thinking about
really
all these different
does.
things. It's like too much.
It
Yeah.
really does. Yeah.
So before you go, what is one thing you would tell these women here in the room that were like, okay, Kelly, I've got a business, I'm doing the things, I hired help, but it's still not working. I don't understand what's working. What would you tell them?
More time in front of the camera. That's what I would tell them. Most business owners are very busy being busy, but they're not doing enough revenue producing activities. And so that's why, Jeanette, you've probably seen what I'm doing with the virtual business school. And that's why I'm so obsessively focused with, let's just get a daily sale. Let's just get a base hit every day. Like, get out in front of the business instead of being hidden behind the curtains, because people are buying. There's 50 to 70 million sales transactions every single day online, and you can get a piece of it, but people need to know you exist. People need to see you. They need to hear from you. So get out in front, be visible, be seen, be heard, so that you can get paid and spend more time behind the camera. And it costs you nothing to do that. It costs you nothing. So there's no one that has a disadvantage that cannot press that button on their camera and get in front of their audience today.
Thank you, Kelly, so much for talking to my audience, for being here, for being who you are, and being such a light in the community, assigned to the marketplace, doing the things you're doing. You're so wonderful. I'm so glad that you got to address my audience.
Well, thank you all. Thanks for coming and spending time with me today, and really enjoyed the conversation. And, Kelly Roach Show every week, free. It's 20 minutes. You can listen and learn. So thank you, Jeanette, for having me. Thank you. It was so nice meeting everyone. And hopefully I'll see you all out there on the highways and byways. Keep growing.